Hi there, welcome to Whole View Farm. Just down here in the pasture area, taking a look around, and boy, this grass is out of control. I have way too much grass. I don't even know what to do with it all. This is all area that we had grazed earlier this spring. We were here through end of March, beginning of April, and I mean, I really feel good about the presence of the roses. I think we had a pretty good impact on them, and I mean, this grass is just, oh, it's like up to my waist here and just looking lush. So really pleased with that. I wish I had a lot more cows. We're working on it. I also wanted to just show this little erosion control project that Aubrey and I had done this spring. And we've had, I bet we've had about 12 inches of rain this past month and a half, maybe 6 weeks or so. And nothing's really changed here. It's still holding. The bank hasn't cut back farther. I mean, there's a lot of water coming through here, but it seems to be our pile of rotten sticks seems to be holding things in place, and we're just going to keep on with this program, filling in this gully as we go, as we find stuff we want to clean out of the pastures and chop up and don't think it's worth burning. So yeah, I like the concept. Let's try to break down this woody material, turn it into soil and fill instead of carbon and smoke in the air. So we're going to keep up with that concept and see how it goes. See these little yellow flowers that look like pea flowers here. I can get it to focus. This is bird's foot trefoil, and we didn't plant this. We did actually plant some up in the crop field that we turned to pasture, the 26 acres up top there, but it just was already here all over the pastures. It's just starting to bloom, and one of the things we noticed last year is that when we had the cows here and with our sheep flock, both sets of animals, it was the first thing they do. And we had a little later in the season, this will all bloom, and it's just covering the whole field with these yellow dots. And then as soon as you put the animals into a new paddock, the yellow dots just disappear, and they love it. But yeah, not all flowering. I know there's some more, a big patch of it right here that is not blooming yet, and I mean, I see it all over, so I know it's still thick in these pastures, but a lot of it hasn't started blooming. Just right here in this bottom, this is the first real sets of blooms I've seen. The multiflora rose is starting to bloom over there. I don't know if you can see those white flowers. This is an area we did graze, but it never got brush mowed, so it's coming back. Yeah, there's some, oh yeah, here we go. Some of the multiflora rose. It is a pretty flower. I mean, pollinators love it. I don't hate the plant. Well, kind of do. It's so hard on your legs. Trying to hike, it tears you up, and it's just the way it takes over and starts crowding out the grasses. A little bit exposed dirt here. We'll work on it because we just don't want to see any. But yeah, there's some more that bird's foot blooming and some daisies. So really nice to start seeing the wildflowers come in. So the yarrow. We get a lot of bergamot in here too. So red clover right there. Bergamot hasn't popped yet, but we do have a lot of it in here. One thing I thought was interesting is there's basically zero echinacea. We have tons of black-eyed Susans, tons of bergamot. I'm going to try to get some echinacea established because it's like oddly missing from this landscape. So it's going to be a little tough, I think, to get it established, but I want to try to start some from seed and clear out a little area and just put plugs here and there and see if we can protect them long enough to get them established. We're going to try haying our field this year. It's a bit of a gamble. There's still a lot of forbs in here. I think that grazing this a couple times. We had the cows through here once, and then the sheep have been through here a couple times since we planted it. And that's really helped. It's not quite where I want it to be, but mowing will be helpful as well. It'll help select for grass. And so we decided to move these hazelnuts. I got them in these brown tree tubes here. These are the Mark Shepard hazelnuts we got from our seed from our neighbor across the street. And we had them in a row over there, but we've, learned some things and realized that's going to be really make it difficult for hay equipment. So we've changed our design around, and we've got these chestnuts, also Mark Shepard genetics, also from the neighbor across the street, that we planted here. And basically we've got a little road here that leads to a gate on the other end of our field, and then back over to the gate on the barn. And we're going to make this kind of boulevard that's just lined with trees. But we're going to keep the whole rest of this field wide open. So we'll have some windbreak, some shade up here to work with. But we need that open space for just efficient hay operation. Yeah, I'm excited. We don't have a tractor. We don't have any hay equipment, but we're able to borrow enough to get it cut and raked. And we're hiring a neighbor to bale it for us. So I hope it works. The weather has not been, well, it's been wonderful. We've gotten tons of rain, but now it's not stopping. So that could make things difficult in order to actually get a good finished product. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Wish us luck. One thing we've realized about these tree tubes, and we did get these used, and they came with these bamboo stakes that are a little worse for wear for the previous use. And not complaining, got them for free from a friend, so I'm not going to argue about that. But one of the things we realized is that they were blowing around and kind of beating up the plants and hollowing out a hole next to them. So I added this little fiberglass stick and some extra zip ties and just made sure that we get it down so that this tube's in contact with the soil. Seems to help. We can see our little green-leaved hazelnut down in there. Another thing we did with the chestnuts with these bigger tree tubes is mulched around the base, and that kind of helps secure everything and keep the tube from spinning around the pole and beating up the plant. So I'm going to do that again. I went and got some of the hay we unrolled that was a little too thick and smothering the grass, so I picked up a bunch of that old rotten hay. And nice thing about having a bunch of old rotten hay around is it is a fantastic mulch material. So I'm about to get these hazelnuts mulched in and call this project done and say that we are ready for cutting hay whenever the weather is. Well, got some weather coming in. Looks like it's starting to sprinkle, so I got my planting and mulching done in really good timing. Now everything's going to get watered in, I think. We got our two young heifers moved out of the training lot here, and I went ahead and brush mowed it just to kind of reset the grasses. Everything was getting kind of leggy, and want to have this ready. We're still hoping to get a couple more here, so wanted to have the training lot ready for whatever comes. I thought giving it a good brush hog and letting it grow back would help. The heifers are in this control area here. It's about just right around an acre. And yeah, the thistles are taking over, but there's a lot of good grass in here. We've just been strip grazing it back towards that fence along the triangle. Yeah, these thistles, I think rather than brush hogging them, once we get out of here, and then once those blooms open up, I'm going to take a machete and hack them off. I hear that'll set them back pretty hard. There's these pretty bovines. trying to be correct and not call them cows, because cows have had babies and these are heifers. I can call them cattle. I can call them bovines. Hi, Strawberry. How are you doing? You gonna interact today? Yeah? Yeah, a little bit. Hi, sweetie. Yeah. Yeah. Still getting used to us, I know. Yeah. You doing okay out here? It's a lot of grass. Looks like you guys figured that out. They're still getting used to the idea of rotating, but they've been perfect on respecting the fences, so I think we got that part pretty well figured out. Yeah, it looks like they've been walking around, working things over here. Yeah, this will be their strip for tomorrow. And yeah, these thistles, jeez. Well, should have seen this this lot when we got it. It was basically bare earth and thistles, and it was a little bit of work to get it to this point, and we got a ways to go, but it's not terrible. It's useful ground to have, and it's all fenced in with high tensile. Got gates kind of going in every direction. It's in the center of the farm, so this gives us a lot of options for moving animals and holding animals. It's where we had our Rammobile last year, which I was planning to move the Rammobile out to the bigger field because we kind of were running out of grass at the end of last season. Of course, it was the worst drought in history of this area, so that might have had something to do with it. And now that we're haying that, I'm not so sure I want it out there. Yeah, we may try it in here again this year rather than moving it. I either have to dismantle it to move it or take this gate and this first post off, because it is too big to fit through these gates. Yeah, we'll see. Wow, they really did a number here. All this, there was a hickory, well, that stump that we carved into a chair, another place for me to rest on walking up the hills. We pulled the log out of here. It's actually sitting on my friend's sawmill. One of these days we're going to get around to cutting some boards out of it. It was a nice, like 20-inch diameter hickory, and it wasn't too far gone, we're hoping. But I got a little bit more wood to clean up, but it was all completely buried in the grass. I couldn't see it at all this morning. So you can see what, well, we got 58 animals in here. Well, 60 if you count the dogs. 1 llama, 34 sheep, and 23 goats. So it doesn't take them long. I see here's some goats and sheep down here. We've oh boy, somebody ran through my line. Shoot. All right. Well, we tried doing a single strand around these hickories just to keep the goats from nibbling all the bark off them, but somebody obviously went through there. This is always a problem when you're creating obstructions. You know, animals just want to walk in slight angles or straight lines. They don't like hooking around something and coming all the way around. So I'm gonna have to go disconnect that line and get these posts set back up, but it seems to have done its job for the most part, as far as protecting the trees from browsing. You got the one down there excluded that's not in the paddock. Found if we put our paddock divisions close to the big trees, it makes it easy to just put a little loop around them or something. But this was just this long row that goes from the dividing fence over there out, around, and back. So it creates a, you know, an L shape basically, where they are a C shape even, where they have to come all the way around these trees and then they get stuck here and they want to go back to the water or to the other animals up there. They get confused and they, yeah, barrel right through it sometimes. So I try to avoid those kind of shapes, but it doesn't always work out that way. Oh yeah, eat those rose flowers. Beautiful. Good job. The Delta hammering on these multiflora roses. It is. Yeah, you'll love to see it. Love to see it. There are some happy goats, even though one of them got shocked. I'm guessing it was a goat. Got shocked pretty good earlier. Hi. Oh, they're just going for the flowers, which is great. Every one of these bushes can create 1 million seeds every season. They're just prolific. So by eliminating these flowers, we're preventing that process, or at least slowing it down, stalling it. And you got these little buds forming here, and they're going for some leaves too, and that certainly strips the plant's ability to build energy reserves. But I think hammering on the flowers is really helping to control the spread. And obviously these are some bigger ones here that I didn't, well, I did brush hog this last year, but with those low hickory limbs I just couldn't get under here. So there's always spots like this you just can't get to with the equipment, and it's not a real fun slope to be on driving around with the equipment. So we'll see. I like what I'm trying to say is I like that we're going to be managing these with livestock more and more, and equipment less and less. It's less fuel I'm using, less pollution I'm creating, less cost, less maintenance, wear and tear. I mean, these guys regenerate. They spring back. It's eternal. I mean, each animal is not eternal, but the flirt is eternal. That could carry on well beyond our lifetimes. The genetics that these animals are passing along, and the techniques and management that we're utilizing here and helping, hopefully helping to develop further. We stand on the shoulders of giants, but every situation is unique. Every property is unique. You know, we have to adapt. We have to really think about what we're doing. And part of why I'm recording this is to share that, to share what we're learning, what we're doing, things we've tried, things that work, things we've failed at. So hopefully that can help some others. And boy, if I can get a handle on these roses, that's just going to be a tremendous win. Okay, I really don't want to hike back up to the barn and back down here. So I'm going to try to get this one, which is not hot, hooked over there and touching that one, and that'll make it electrical without jumpers. And I've been putzing around here and already shocked myself once, which was really silly because I can just come up here and disconnect the power from this end, and then I can fix that, and then I can not have to hike back to the barn. So there, we got our very fancy fence tester here. Oh yeah, I can feel that. Doesn't kill you. The resistance of the plant transmit just a small jolt. Now I know for sure this is cold. I can mess with it without hurting myself. Oh, there we go. Got an electrical connection without the jumpers. I did wrap it a few times because you want a good connection. If you get a real slight connection, it can arc, which arcing produces heat, and it'll leave little scorch marks or even harm the filaments on your wire. You a sad puppy. So now we're hot again. hopefully a single strand of hot wire will be enough to keep them off of that tree. Man, boy, I really thought I was being clever this morning when I set up this protection around the trees. I'm gonna try it again, make it hot this time. I think that's probably where I goofed both times, but it's also the shape. I really gotta get creative and figure out how to avoid these corners and dead ends and areas they want to get around, because I think that's the problem. They're probably down here, and then they see sheep across this fence, or somebody panics, or they're trying to get to the water and they can't figure out how to find this 40-foot gap between those two fences. And yeah, I mean, really what I've got going here with this jog out to protect this tree, and then they got to go up there and then around those other trees. So it's a big S shape. It's like, it's kind of the worst imaginable shape. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised at this. I'm really tempted to, I think what I'm going to do here is change this up. I think I'm going to take this wire down and just leave a cold, I don't have a way to get power to it, but it'll just be around the tree so that we don't have this big dead end. I think that'll actually alleviate the issue on both of these, because they can get around that set of trees and then just come straight through here to get up to all this grass, which nobody's hardly touched yet. This was yesterday's paddock, and there's still a lot of forage in here. So I think I can save myself a little bit of labor by just winding up what I don't need rather than taking what I need down. So I disconnected that hook, and it just loops down there, and I think if I just can kind of pull, pull this, and it slides right through these stepping posts. I can do the same thing here. So I can just kind of take this part down, wind up the slack. So we'll see if this works. Got that pathway between the tree and the perimeter opened up, so hopefully that'll prevent further entanglements. Dogs are being good. Mama's grazing. Here comes those sheep that were sleeping on the hill, coming out to graze in the evening with their lammies. It's early in the morning and into the evening when everybody gets the squirreliest. That's when you see the lambs dance and play, and see these dogs start getting all nutty and romping around. And that was a big concern for us with the dogs. I know I talked about that, losing some lambs and not knowing exactly what had happened. So we did a lot of supervised visitations during the day, and these dogs just performed perfectly. They never chased after the sheep or lambs. They came through, and sometimes they'd kind of sniff at a lamb, and the mom would kind of headbutt them, and they'd back off. So we've decided to trust them again. They were in here with them last night, and everything's good. So it's a good feeling having the guardians back in with the flock, in with the flerd. Make sure everybody stays safe, and just hope that trend continues. Gabe Brown tells us we should try to fail at something every year. Here we try to accelerate that process a bit by failing at many things every day. So here you go. It's a joy of working with animals. You never know what you're going to find. I thought this was just going to be a quick check on everybody, and they'd be enjoying the new pasture and not knocking all my fences down. But thank goodness they're in the paddocks. I didn't have to chase them across these hills. It's one of my goals. Taking on this farm is too fat, too old to run animals across these hills. So I'm doing everything I can to get them trained, use the right materials, and be successful. And we have been successful so far at keeping them in the paddock. So hope that continues. Thanks for watching. If you like this stuff, give us a like, hit the subscribe button. That really helps the channel out. And yeah, as long as you keep watching them, we'll keep making them. Take care.